Good evening, everybody. Wow, I'm a lot brighter than I thought I was. No, that's because I got two lights. Sorry if it seems really, really bright and even too bright. I am doing a live unboxing, and I want plenty of light for both me and for you. Just realized my mic's in the way for this. Hope you don't mind seeing it there. I am currently waiting for a particular guest, but I can do a little bit of showing off here. This is a box of miniatures. As you can see, I covered up the important stuff. I got this from Shadow and Sun, who is our guest for the evening. And when he shows up, I will be opening this. Until then, we're just going to chat. This is a box of two different miniatures. Well, two sets of miniatures, actually. One's a set of 32. The other is a set of 10, I think. Something about that number. One is a set from Dungeons and Lasers. Another is a set from, I'm not entirely sure what set that is. Well, I'll name it when I get there. So, I just got a message from Shadow. He'll be there shortly. I got plenty to talk about. I'm super excited for these miniatures, especially seeing as the only miniatures I have at the moment. Oh, I see the missing one. Huh. Oh. Help if I actually look where it is. Anyway, sorry. I was just looking at some 3D miniature models. Models I 3D printed. Can't get a good look at him. This is a female barbarian. I need to get a better camera since I'm going to start showing off miniatures, because this camera, great for distance detail. You could see me great. I try to get this close up to the camera, you will see squat. It'll just be a blur. You'll actually get more detail at this distance, even though you can't see it, than if I put it at a distance. Oh, our guest has arrived.
What's happening, man?
Not much. When I first won these packages, my first thought was, I've got to do a live unboxing with Shadow on my stream.
Glad to be here, man. You won it fair and square. I'm excited for you because I've put this stuff together and it's a lot of fun. It's there's some fiddly little bits. If you've got a hot knife, if you know what a hot knife is, that'll help. Yeah. If not, you can just take a candle and an X-Acto knife, do it the old-fashioned way to make sure you don't put too much tension on the parts as you're trying to clip them out. But it sounds like you're a little experienced with models and,
Actually, no.
Oh, okay.
The only models I have are those 3D printed ones I just showed off. And those were 3D printed whole. I have
these guys right here. Are in one of the boxes. These sci-fi lizard guys. Oh my god, they're so much fun. Just full on high tech snake men.
Oh yeah, I was super excited to see those.
And the vampires, the vampires with techno armor and guns. Gotta love that. And there's half a dozen or so of those. The Technomancer, I don't know what I did with. Oh, it's right here. No, that's not it. It's kind of cool, but it's pretty fiddly. Fortunately, the instructions are actually in the box for these. The other box you have to go online to get the instructions. But my favorite out of the Star Side pieces is definitely the. Oh, that's not it either. Where is the?
Well, speaking of Star Side, that is the first box right on top.
Yeah, the Inquisitor that comes in that, the lady, Commissar, whatever.
Yeah.
She's a lot of fun too because she's got a lot of optional parts, what have you. But all of the things that come from Archon Studio are just top notch. Just absolutely one of the best model miniature companies out there. just you're in for a blast.
Oh
And
yeah.
if you need any tips or have any questions, just you know where to
Well,
find
right.
me.
Yeah. Well, right off the bat, one of the things I wanted to ask you was what kind of glue should I use? I was just going to buy a generic modeling glue because my local drugstore sells models. It's the only store that does. Problem is, it
Really?
sells. Yeah, it literally sells everything: models, paint brushes, paint sets, like Reaper Miniatures,
Wow.
the really expensive sets, but not one bottle of modeling glue.
Okay. Do you have a Hobby Lobby or a
We have a Michaels about an hour from here.
Michaels might have your basic like bottles of testers, cement. A lot of people like other stuff. What I actually like is this brush on liquid testers. A lot of people say Tamiya is better, but I like this stuff because you get a little bit more control. Because what it does is it melts the model together.
Yeah,
It
that's the
literally
glue I was hoping
welds.
to use.
Right, because
Yeah.
super glue, you don't want to use super glue. Sometimes you
It's
will.
a temporary solution.
Yeah, but you can get the liquid because it's like a brush on. You can see a little brush in there, and it gives you a lot more control with the stuff in the tube. If you squeeze too hard, it goes all over the place. And for whatever reason, the gel kind of testers or model cement tends to like if you put it on a pallet or something, because you squeeze out too much, it tends to dry really fast. Whereas the liquid doesn't like evaporate so much. You would think it would because it's mostly acetone, but I just like it because you can also use it as a gap filler. Like say you put two pieces together and there's a little bit too much of a gap for whatever reason, because maybe you didn't file it right or something like that. You could just brush it in there and be careful because whatever you glue, if your fingers touch the wet glue, you'll leave fingerprints because
Yeah.
it'll melt your fingerprints in there. I don't know what tools you use, like X-Acto knives and clippers, but I'm going to show you one of the greatest tools for model building of all time. That's the toenail clipper. Fingernail clippers work too, but they're great for getting at certain angles, and especially when you want to take off, when you clip the piece, there's sometimes a little bit of plastic where you didn't make a perfect cut. Because these are round and the cutting surface is a curved edge, you can, get it in and just clip it away, then, file off or use the X-Acto knife, whatever you want to do for the mold lines. Because when you're assembling it, you'll be able to see these little lines where the two halves of the mold come together, and you're going to want to, I like to file them off. I've got a half round, really small.
Yeah, I've seen that on one of your videos. It's like, that's a good idea. I need to see about getting one of those myself.
A lot of people like to use something that's called a mold line remover. It's basically just a bird metal, bar that's like rounded, and you just kind of
I know
rub it
those are
away.
deburring tools.
I don't like using those just because it's a little bit more work, but they're probably not bad at all. I don't feel like spending $10 for an overpriced thing because I'm pretty sure
when you don't need it.
Right, the file on a lot of nail clippers, this edge right here probably do the same thing. But if you're going to do any filing or sanding, wash the model off when you've completely glued it together. A lot of people like to wash the sprues, but then they forget that they filed and sanded and whatnot. Wash the model off to get all that dust off it, and then let it dry until it's completely dry before you primer it. Because a little bit of plastic sand from sanding it can actually show up in places, and when you do the paint job, make it look kind of, like dirty or bumpy in ways that you don't want. So I'll always wash my assembled models off before I start doing anything else. And it also can get the mold release off it, because there's sometimes like a spray or something like PAM, to help the mold come apart. And most people don't realize that if it's on the model and you start painting it, it might make it easier for the paint to come off, even if you primer it.
Okay, well, I have yeah, I don't mind showing it off. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah, that yellow thing back there, that is the wash and cure station for my resin printer, and that's got rubbing alcohol in it, so I should be able to just clean them off with that.
Yeah, that's actually a great idea. I just run it under hot soapy water, and it does the trick. But that's even better because it'll break it up a little bit. I saw your 3D printers back there. Nice.
Oh yeah. And the next item on the box is a Winds of
I
Change
forgot about that.
autographed copy.
Yeah,
yeah.
we little guy and I we always want to write something in it. You know, some people might not dig it, but you know what? This way, you know, whenever you pick it up, you know, you'll know and remember us for, you know, having given it to you. And even though it's book 8 in the series, it's got enough just, you know, abstract, loose information that you're going to be able to find, you know, some use for later on down the road. And if you like, you know, the style and the information, there's 8 other books that will do the same thing, give you new ideas, new monsters, new treasure, new situational rules. And, you know, mind you, this stuff was all written a very, very long time ago and has been borrowed from since then. You may read about it somewhere, you know, read the same information, worded a little differently, but that stuff goes way back to the beginnings of gaming history.
Cal.
It's happening. You know, if it wasn't for Cal and Grim, we would never have, you know, met all you folks. You know, he's real, you know, modest and whatnot. But seriously, it was Cal and Grim who encouraged my son and I to start doing the live streams and talking to people, you know, instead of just through the comment section. And, you know, you're already way ahead of the curve from where we were. It took us almost a year and a half, 2 years before we started talking to people, just, you know, making home movies and, you know, doing our thing. And
yeah,
thanks, Cal. It really was one of the best pieces of advice we've ever gotten, you know, when it comes to YouTube. Plus his painting. You guys haven't seen Cal's painting. What are you doing with your life? Funky Frank.
No, you can't get a good view of it, but these are good. These are cool stickers.
You know, I sent out, you know, a bunch of extras so that you can, you know, put them wherever you want. You know, I'm going to put one on my new laptop and, you know, just, it's just, you know, a goofy, fun thing to you know, show off your Arduino, you know, freak flag, so to speak. And the guys at Emperor's Choice are so busy working, and yet they still have the time to come up with the stickers and the cardboard insert that the Lancer's Rest. Just it's an advertisement, but it works real good as a bookmark. That's what I use it for in the books that I'm currently reading. And I hope you like what you read. That's what I'm most excited about. Is, you know, the models are cool, and you'll get, you know, a lot of use out of them, especially that next item. You'll get a lot of use out of them over the years. But the world of Arduino has got so much to offer for so many different reasons when it comes to gaming. Even you know, for, you know, guys like us that are more sci-fi oriented, you know, it really does have a lot to offer. Even though it comes across as mostly a fantasy role-playing game, it's got a lot of sci-fi elements in it.
I agree. And Cal, the 2 boxes I got was the Dungeon. Let's see. There we go. The Dungeon and Dungeons and Lasers sampler set, and the Starside set. This was a general giveaway. This was a anybody could win giveaway, even if you've already won.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I ended up with both boxes.
Yeah, you got real lucky. And believe it or not, Starside was supposed to originally be a game called Empire of Men or Empire of Man. And oh my God, the pieces for it for the few lucky people who got them back in the day in resin. They're still working on creating the Starside game over at Archon Studio. It's going to be like their answer to 40K, but with different types of factions and their own lore. And oh my God, I of all the Kickstarters I ever missed out, and even though I'm not a big fan of resin over plastic, I would have jumped on that Kickstarter in a heartbeat had I been able to. I should go look on eBay and see if anybody's getting rid of extras, because the vehicles were just out of this world. Not just your typical run-of-the-mill tanks and motorcycles and things like that, but just all kinds of just really weird, unique-looking vehicles. And hopefully they'll get off their tail feathers and pump that out with as well as Archon has done over the years, and with as quick as they pump everything out. But we got to just be patient, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, my son and I, we assembled all those models from the 32 creature pack, but like more than half of them are still waiting on paint job because the little guy wanted to do all the bugs. He's got a big appreciation of bugs and insects and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but there's some really cool.
I would say that's the reason why I wanted to see about getting him to do some bug art for me, because if he loves bugs that much, I know no matter what kind of bug I ask him to make, it's going to be epic. Yeah, believe it or not, he's got his own style. It's not, it's inspired by obvious things, but the things that he's inspired by are so niche and off the beaten path that it makes his style look all the more original. I'm trying to get him to let me, send out some of his artwork, because he's already had his first job in gaming art already. And with his style and his talent, he could go pretty far if he really, chooses to do so. I'm not even going to send the effort, because obviously his first day of summer vacation, he got hired and spent most of his summer vacation working for a big name company. Well, relatively big. I mean, but there's some great models in there. I'm looking at I've just opened this. I'm looking at some of the sprues now. Oh, you're gonna have a lot of fun with that, man. I also sent one of those boxes to Brian from Weird World War II, because I literally got like 5 or 6 of those boxes because I backed a certain Kickstarter back in the day, and when you backed it. If you backed it multiple times, you got multiple copies of the stretch goals. Now you can't do that. You've got to have separate accounts to do it. So I, took advantage of it. Got a bunch of them, but to make it up to the guys at Archon who've been so good to us, I've given away more of those sets than I've kept for myself, and they're a lot of fun. Just hey, what's up, Connell? They're just howdy. They're just so different from so many. I mean, literally, like these snake guys. Okay, there are a lot of serpent men out there. Okay, but armed with plasma cannons and Aztecian-looking techno shields. I mean, get out of town. These things are just. Oh yeah. Hey, Connell, if you want to join us for the miniatures conversation, here's the link. Yeah, he actually won the. I think it was the townsfolk back in the first giveaway, and. I was just watching some of this. I think so. Yeah, he still hasn't assembled any of them. He's got somebody else working on it, and I'm like, you'll never see those again. But, I'll probably, since I got to wait for getting the glue either way, because I'm not going to have a chance to go down to Coeur d'Alene, and even if I order it, I'll have to wait a couple days. Just for excitement, I'll probably see about assembling one of the models that doesn't matter as much with super glue, so I got an idea as to what I'm doing. That's
I have actually seen those town folks. I have seen them. I go over there almost every other Monday, and we game, and I see the progress he is making. I will see my town folk, and you will see me paint them as soon as they're done. All right. Because I literally all I did was assemble them. I didn't paint them, so just saying. Because there's 60 of them, and I'm like, when am I going to use them? Because I don't do town adventures.
with miniatures. I just do a theater of the mind almost always. It's just too easy to get sucked into, you know, when the players don't want to. But when they do, it's actually a lot of fun to have the right townsfolk miniatures, the guards, the urchins, I mean, there's 60 different townsfolk. There's all kinds of cool stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't want to. I'm all about miniatures. I love my miniatures. I really do. I've named all the iconic ones that they came up with their own names, but I've renamed them. And my kids call them by the names I gave them. You know how you give your dog a name or a child a name? I've named some of these major figs. I have the big ones. The big red colossal red dragon, we named Fred.
Nice.
Okay.
That's literally along the lines of Planet Bob.
Right. I
love it.
I got a white dragon, not colossal white dragon, a gargantuan white dragon that we named Adolf. Because it's white with blue eyes. It was just, but
Yeah.
no, I love my miniatures. I get why a lot of people like theater of the mind. And I'm not saying that's a horrible thing. If your table wants that, more power to you, feed them more of what they want. I mean, especially if you're like as myself, a paid DM. But if you're a kid and you're working at a game shop and you go to this table that has all these weird little plastic things that have their own little weird little story behind them, hook, sinker,
Yeah. Oh, Shadow, you missed the most important miniature in this Starside set. A Legion of the Black Sun Necromancer.
Yeah. I thought I showed that one off. The hold on, let me bring it back out. Yeah, it's this one right here. Like I said, it's very, very fiddly with this weird spell-like serpent thing that's going on. Just be very, very patient when you put it together. And
oh yeah, I intend to assemble the simplest first, since I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely. When you do that, I would actually go with the creature pack. You get the online instructions and look for the things that are really simple. Because I think there's a clear plastic tree in there, right?
Not this one. This one has the undead tree that you dreaded. I just watched that video to see what was in here.
That was another toughie. That was a real tough mini to put together. I mean, sometimes when you finally figure it out, you're like, oh my God, these guys are freaking geniuses. Just
there's one that you guys did a while ago, and I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. There was a phoenix, the phoenix that you injected.
Yeah, let me see if I can grab that one.
I have to, every so often I'll have to grab my daughter and like, hey babe, tell me what colors they're using for some of these models that you're using their Shadow, because I don't see all of them.
But check this out. Jackie did. I did the assembly, but he did the paint job.
Yeah, that's absolutely gorgeous.
To this day, it's got this removable like armor that we did in gold. So it's like wearing sort of like, a mask and a chest piece and some shoulder pads. To this day, I still can't do fire. I leave it to the boy now. I mean, He is Lava Lord, so, Yeah,
at least he can do it. But I can definitely see why you wanted me to do the creature set first, because I can see obvious connection points between the different parts.
Yeah. The sci-fi stuff is a lot more complicated, and because they're older sets, the Starside set is older. They were still working out the bugs when it came to instructions, and things like that. There's a lot of, that box will give you a really nice learning curve. You can start with the really, really, really simple stuff. Yeah, I see that. Yeah. With like one or two pieces, you glue them together, you're done. And work your way up. I am actually the opposite. When I get like when I got my my Shadows of Brimstone Kickstarter, I did all the really big cool shit first. Excuse my French. Like this guy right here was one of the first models I put together. It's a snake man on a freaking pterodactyl looking thing.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool when you showed that off.
Yeah,
in
that's
your
a
videos.
Yeti. Well, D&D has their own name for the snake people, which I'm sure it's
Wanti,
yeah,
or Yuanti or whatever.
yeah.
But what I wanted to show you off, TCG, you too, Connell.
Yeah.
You see all the rocks on there?
Yeah.
This one's actually like a garnet or something, just I found it in a riverbed. But we use locally sourced rocks and sand and things like and gravel instead of buying like some of the more some of the other things. Like some people like to use kitty litter and other things, but we just go on a hike and I'll bring a couple of Ziploc bags and just grab some gravel, grab some rocks, grab some roots and twigs and stuff like that. And especially since it's me and the boy and we've been doing this for years, every time I pick up a rock, I can at least remember kind of where we were when we got it, what we were doing, and it just makes it a little bit more special when we do the bases of the miniatures. I try to make the base tell sort of a story, add to it, because all I'm doing is painting by numbers. But when I put the little doodads, the little pieces of tile or broken wall or a skeleton or something on the base, it tells a little bit more in the story. It just reminded me there's a monster in that set you got there, TCG. I think it's called a Periton. It's like the stag with wings.
Oh yeah. I remember seeing that.
Oh my God, that pose that sculpt with the way the dead body or the guy is holding up the stag and everything, just freaking genius in the way it all by itself. Yeah. If you made like a diorama of just that, you would win prizes because it tells the whole story with the sculpt of just this guy just got out of nowhere. This thing just comes down and just skewers him and just messes him up. But that's one of the great things about Archon is they don't just make rank and file troops. Every one of them's got like a little bit of humor, or a little bit of mystery or suspense or something like that built into the model to make it more than just a generic character or townsfolk model. Cal, your work is absolutely stunning. You really should share with people. I'm just saying, I know you share on Discord, but I would love to see you, make some tutorial videos just to share your talent with folks because, folks, this guy,
I'd watch them. I've been watching the heck out of those videos to learn little things about every little trick I can, at least about painting. I got to watch some more assembly videos.
Yeah, there's not assembly's harder because every model is literally different, but every paint job isn't. If that makes any sense, when you're putting together a model, clip, file, sand, glue, all those things in the proper order. But with a miniature, when you're painting it, some people like to do the inks first, then the dry brushing. I like to do the ink, dry brush. Sometimes I'll do dry brush, ink, dry brush. It all depends on the look you're looking for. Oh, you're on Facebook? Oh, okay. Well, then I don't do Gilded, but if you're on Facebook, then everybody could just grab your name, look you up, and just be stunned into feeling like an amateur again.
I was going to actually play a little bit. I mean, when he says he'll watch it, and I'm like, he watches us on Table Breakers. He watches us on my Sunday show. There's not much this guy won't watch. So,
Just found the tail of the just found the creature, the stag.
Which, don't get me
Bird.
wrong, I'm highly appreciative that you do watch our Sunday show, and he's gone.
Hey, allergies. You don't want to hear me sneeze and cough on camera, do you?
No, that's fair. But no, my hands shake. I can do the painting sorta, but actually putting the mods together, I mean, somehow I'm sure I'll have by everything is said and done, I'll have like a forearm super glued to a guy's forehead. It just, nobody wants that. I mean, it will be my version of a Toxic Avengers. It'll just be bad.
Yeah, I think the ones that I'll go through with the super glue will be the centaurs, because they are cool, but centaurs have never grabbed me in any real special way. So it's like, if I'm going to screw something up, I want to screw it up on them.
I have a buddy that I game with that he paints miniatures. He's like, I don't know, been doing it for the last, like, let's see, he's 60 some odd years now. He prefers metal over plastic. But he's like,
but you can't do as much with metal. So
right. He'll charge like $2 to paint a fig, and he's gotten into Flames of War, where people will give him tanks that they 3D printed, and he'll paint them or miniatures or whatever. And I'm like, God, you can't be making much, $2 a fig. He's like, yeah, this guy just gave me like 600 figs that he wants me to paint. I'm like, that's nothing to sneeze at. That's $1,200 at the end of the day. No,
right. With GM Fritz, one of my favorite YouTubers out there. He does painting commission, and he shows us what he's doing. More of what he's doing than how he's doing it, because he's doing like 15 millimeter, 10 mil historicals. But,
yeah.
When you've got a lot of, rank and file, it's a lot easier to just, assembly line, large numbers of troops like that, as opposed to, like, for example, the townsfolk set. Yeah, there's some, multiple different of the guards and things like that, but every other miniature in that set is completely different,
There's a rat folk in that set. There's a rat folk.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was unique. It's like, huh.
Hey, Shadow.
Yeah.
I found the epic log.
Oh, yeah, the Wyvern?
The Wyvern logger. I was just watching you and your son on that video not that long ago, and I just seen the log and remember him. The most epic part of the set, the log.
What is Jackie doing?
Excuse me a second.
Which we didn't do.
Go on and keep talking. I just gotta go check something.
Yeah, Jackie just finds weird things to hyper accentuate, even though there's no real reason, or he's got his own weird little reason. Like for example, if I could find it, I've got this barrel. Yeah. Okay, right here. I got it as a freebie. I bought a blister pack with a single metal Reaper miniature a while back that was for his character in D&D. His elf, fighter magic user elf character. And they just sent this 3D printed just barrel. I've got dozens of barrels. But for whatever reason, this barrel was the coolest, best sculpted barrel we'd ever seen. So nice that we never painted it and never will, because I made copies of this one with blue stuff mold making compound, and then fill that with either dental plaster or
where do you get dental plaster from?
I order it.
Yeah, you'd be amazed what you can find on eBay. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
I tell everybody
I own a lot of silicone molds. I own a lot of silicone molds from Hearst Arts. And all you need to do is mix with the plaster, pour it, scrape off the top, make sure it's level, shake it a little, get the bubbles out that rise to the top, and it creates this phenomenal scenery. But you got to glue everything together. But I usually just use individual floor tiles and things like that to put on my miniature bases, to dress them up. Sometimes there's there's bases or just they've got all kinds of molds, and the molds are like $25 a piece with about 25 little different cavities for different pieces. And if you follow the instructions, and like say you get mold number 123 and you fill it up like 50 times, well, then you have all the Lego pieces to build this big, incredible structure for your gaming table. And I got in. It's really, really intricate, and it was what I did before I found Dungeons and Lasers Terrain. Now I don't have to do half the work. But
Have
it
you
was,
seen
it was a good
Warlock?
experience. Yeah, Dungeons and Lasers is better.
I haven't seen them side by side, but Warlock's got some pretty stuff.
It's nice, and they do all the work for you. But because they do all the work for you, you pay for it. I have much more time. I like to do, because if I bought Warlock stuff, I would still hit it with a wash and pick out highlights and do little stuff to make it my own.
Oh, that's fair.
And it's just much more expensive. And when I back a Kickstarter from Archon Studios, I get, for $250 roughly, I get everything I will ever need for that kind of setting. Like when I bought the dungeon stuff, I literally have enough dungeon to cover an entire 6-foot dinner table with 3D terrain. It was $250, but I put in hundreds of man hours to get it to
shop I work at sells Warlock and Dungeons and Lasers. He sells a lot of different stuff, but for every, it's like he'll order for a set. He'll get a case of new Warlocks. He'll send them out, and out of his pocket, I don't think it's completely out of his pocket as a store expense. He will open one up and tell me to use it in my campaigns. So
that's awful nice.
I don't get to keep it. It does not come home with me, but the shop has it. A couple plastic boxes of Warlock stuff, and that stuff is gorgeous.
Yeah, I plan on when I open my shop in the future to have stuff that people can borrow or rent or whatever, depending on what the economy is like at the time, so that they can do that. Because for some people, when I started playing, using miniatures just wasn't a thing. And
right.
I played for decades without miniatures, always wanting to. And now that I have the money and I don't, which is funny. I still prefer to theater of the mind most situations because it's faster. You get more done in a game when you're just doing theater of the mind and you're just, moving through the scenes, doing even the combat and all that stuff. But every once in a while, it is an absolute, kid-like joy to be able to sit down at a fully furnished table with everything before you, and you can see all the detail and the walls and the floors and the doors and the monsters and the piles of treasure and all that stuff. There's something magical about it, something very nostalgic, bringing you back to your inner kid. Because I used to, when I played Galactic 25, which is a miniature war game, I would take my old Legos and build terrain and buildings and hallways and things like that. We used to try to make like the Star Wars, in A New Hope, when the stormtroopers are busting into Princess Leia's ship, we would play that battle, but using miniatures and try to build out the long hallways of the starship. Unfortunately, I didn't always have enough white bricks, so I had to, there'd be red rooms and red hallways and stuff like that. But we'd still, game it out, and it was a lot of fun to be able to play with, the confines of, interior scenery inside dungeons or inside starships, things like that, to get the claustrophobic feel. But with Dungeons and Lasers, I can actually build really large rooms and put, tons of, little pieces of scattered terrain, but at the same time still have room for 20 or 30 miniatures to fight, a big, skirmish, boarding action, things like that. And, sometimes it is fun to get down to the, the physical level of gaming with your toys and your toy army men and your soldiers and your little tanks and stuff like that. Those kind of hobbies are quickly disappearing. There will come a time, for you younger guys where you will never see another model railroad set again, and nobody will have them. All of the ones that were, around will have been thrown in a landfill because someone didn't appreciate it. But I tell you, if you've ever seen a really good model railroad set with trees and hills and all that stuff, that is not just a work of art. That is a work of pure love of some guy or a couple of guys or a guy and a gal who just went together and made their own little slice of heaven that they can touch and feel and build and just, enjoy the hell out of. And someday all that's going to be gone. Yo.
Yeah. I would say, sorry I'm being so quiet. I'm just looking over all this and I'm just
Actually,
loving the
don't
detail.
blame you at all, man. I don't blame you at all, man. The first time I opened up one of their boxes, I was just blown away. I saw the pictures on the ads, and I'm like, yeah. But then when you get it in your hand and you're just like looking at the quality these guys put out and how quick they do it, they are literally the kings of the Kickstarter. The first Kickstarter took about a year, like they said, to get my money to Poland, from Poland to get the stuff at my doorstep. Now it's like 9 months. Everybody else in the same game and the same Kickstarter business, they take a year minimum, if not 2 or 3, or like Shadows of Brimstone, 4 years to get the same thing I could have got from the guys in Poland at Archon Studio.
Yeah.
So if you're, feeling froggy the next time a Kickstarter rolls around, most of the Kickstarters from Archon Studios, you can get in at $100, and sometimes that's more than enough to get you what you're looking for. I always go higher so that I can buy, pretty much everything and show it off. But I always, because I do that, get enough extra stuff that I can give away. I'm not going to say how much, but we've always been able to give away some of the stuff. And it's just our way of, sharing with guys like you two and showing you why we love it so much. Because, there's a lot of companies. I could jump on the 40K bandwagon because they're not in China exactly, Cal. Because Games Workshop, they put out good stuff. Not going to lie. It's expensive. But when it comes to the models, when it comes to the quality, it's great.
Yeah.
So is Archon Studios, and they don't need to charge as much.
Without knowing much about modeling, I do know from a buddy of mine who actually, he used to. I don't know if he still does, but he actually made dioramas out of model stuff, kind of like this. And I know from some of the stuff he made, this is definitely high detail. Like, no offense, Shadow, but you didn't give this stuff enough credit on how detailed it is. You kept saying, "Oh, it's detailed. It's detailed." It's like you should have gone, "This is so insanely detailed. A newbie's mind will be blown."
Yeah,
that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, they're. I mean, like for example, one of my favorite pieces that you just got, TCG, is the White Stag. It's just a simple,
right here on top,
beautiful little piece. It's just a big stag, bigger than average stag, but it's supposed to be the magical white stag, from myth and legend. But it's just they could have made a hobgoblin, or they could have made a troll, or some whatever. But they went, what? This is kind of like who we are. We're pulling stuff from mythology and things that we love, and we're gonna put the white stag in there just because. Why not? They could have made it a unicorn, but they went, no. This is how original we are. We're gonna do something nobody else would think of doing. Just like with the Parrotin, that's a monster I've only run into like once in all my D&D gaming years. It's a giant eagle with a reindeer head, a stag.
Yeah,
head.
I've only ever heard of that creature once, and that was in an anime, like the Last Unicorn Old type anime. That was the last time I seen one of those creatures.
And now you have one. And looking at that miniature, doesn't it make you just want to throw it in there? It swoops out of nowhere and just hits some party member. It's like, what the hell? What just hit me? Well, it looks like
the best part is
it looks like a giant bird, but it's got antlers and a deer head. We're like, what?
Yeah,
You know,
it fits in with the world I'm building for the Skies of Arenaria perfectly, and not like I had something like that planned ahead of time, but it's like it's a flying creature, and it's definitely bizarre. And the world itself is supposed to be mostly bizarre. You're not supposed to find the same thing you do in this world to mostly a degree. I mean, like there are cows. Sorry, Connell.
I'm still waiting for Shadow to send me that Trask, an extra Trask he might have laying around.
I know. I was like, when I actually won this box specifically, because this is the one I won. Like I only get to win one of.
Yeah.
And I sat there going, I'm glad I have it, but I'm also disappointed because I really wanted that Tarrasque. It was either this or this Tarrasque, and I knew if I got one but not the other, I'd sit there be disappointed because I wanted both so badly. But
you know what?
Shadows rules are Shadows rules.
You can still get the Tarrasque from Archon. You can also go shop around on eBay, and you know, it's one of those things that if you keep looking for it, I understand it, but if you keep looking, you'll find one. You know, you know,
I get
I
that.
know it's not the same, but you know what? I actually bought. I got two Tarrasques when I did the Kickstarter, right?
Right.
One for Jackie to put together, and then one for the giveaway. But you know what? Jackie was taking so long putting paint on his Tarrasque. I went out and bought another one. And I paid like $50 plus shipping because somebody on eBay bought so many Kickstarters that they had extra stuff, and they're like, I'm gonna put it on eBay, I'm gonna price it to sell. I got it for $50 plus shipping, and you know what? I don't regret it whatsoever. It's almost done.
I was about to say, my birthday is like in literally a couple days. I'm just throwing that out there. Wow. Hey, Bo.
Yeah. Oh. Hello, Bo.
I actually used some neon paint. I don't know if you can see how that looked with a black light.
We're talking minis right now. Sorry, but hey, Bo, we're talking minis right now, and let me double check to make sure. Yeah, the link is still in the chat if you want to jump in.
Yeah, we learned a long time ago to use blacklight poster paint, neon poster paint. Even though we're never going to play in a blacklight environment, you know, Jackie's got some blacklights in his room, and you know, you turn them on, and it makes everything look very, very different.
Oh yeah, well, my first thought for that would be taking it and putting it on insects and do the scorpion effect. So you got poisonous insects. If you put black lights on them, they glow.
He is working because he is a good person.
Yes, he is. I was actually just chatting with Bo right here.
I don't know if that makes you a good person, but he is working.
Yeah. Hey,
Bo.
Bo.
Is there something you're not telling us there, Connell?
My opinion on good people and bad people is questionable at best. Never. What was it? The thought is always trust the White Knight because he is, he is honorable and all the good things. But in my point of view, he's often the one training the dragon. So don't trust the White Knight. Never trust anything at face value. Trust the Black Knight because he's out there actually getting the job done.
Interesting logic.
There's also
wrong either.
There's also
you know what, Donald? Karma has a way of getting to everybody, and you know, I've seen the people you hang out with, and I hang out with the same people. So either we're doing something right or we're doing something really, really, really wrong.
Honestly, all the people we mutually hang out with, probably the best person of all of us is Jade.
Really?
I say, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh God, he's a Boy Scout.
I'm just messing with you, Jade. Because he's so quiet sometimes that I gotta wonder, you know, what skeletons are in his closet. But I don't like to, you know, really rate my friends. You know, like, you know, this is the best person in the world. There is one person that's very special out there.
I get that.
But you know, like, oh, I'm only your second best friend. Okay, fine. You know, I don't want to get into that. You know,
It's not the whole best friend situation. There's a reason why if I call Jade on my phone, he calls me. It comes up as a Boy Scout.
No, I get it. Jade's a great guy. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night's show. You know, I give him a lot of shit because, you know, I don't want the show to just, you know, be mediocre. I know it can be one of the better shows out there, but it's hard coming up with content week after week after week. And
I know that's part of the reason why I don't do. Sorry,
I'd rather skip a show than do a mediocre show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the same exact attitude I have. That's the reason why I don't do too many live streams, because I'm still early on in this video YouTubing thing, and I don't feel like I won't say my opinion doesn't hold value, but my opinion does not hold weight because there's nobody really watching me. That's the reason why I do shows on other channels.
You're just a chucklehead like me. Don't feel too bad.
Yeah. I'm just waiting to start doing.
You'll find your own tribe. Build it and they will come. Keep doing it, and you're gonna find your own tribe. The people that you click with, you know, like really, really well. You know, and you know, we you know, I don't know about you guys, but I can't have people over as much as I'd like to. You know, if at all, sometimes, especially like during COVID and stuff like that. But being able to hang out with you guys on, you know, a video call kind of situation like this, with everybody else, you know, in chat, being able to come in if they so choose, is really not worthy of ridicule in any way, in my opinion. I love mediocrity. No, you don't. Oh my God, you are such a perfectionist.
Depends on the situation.
Yeah, you're right, Bo. You're right. But you know what? We're not letting you go, man. And speaking of not letting go, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. How much does this guy love me? How much does this guy love me? He loves me so much that he would lick my face. I mean, yes. We all see.
Don't lick the shadow. You don't know where he's been.
I know.
Get that out of your mouth. You have no idea where it's been.
I love you, buddy.
Yeah, I'd have to say before assembly, my favorite part of this set is the bases. I'll see how I feel after assembly.
You'll end up with a bunch of extra bases.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I like them. I really like the custom bases too. Like this one for the swamp creature or the tree creature. That looks. I love the water effects.
Yeah. Now learning to paint them really well.
Yeah, that'll be a different story.
I tend to use very specific paints for stuff like that, but you know, and it's not the like dark blue, despite what you might think. You know, that just looks cheap.
Yeah, I remember one of your videos talking about.
It looks like something, you know, from like middle school. You know.
Yeah.
But you know, ask Cal or me or you know other folks, and they'll be more than happy to give you some tips.
All right, let's pull the centaurs out so I can see what clipping and assembling them here within the mix. I'm hoping to get at least one of these clipped and assembled before Sunday, so I can hopefully paint it. Because using alcohol inks and speed paints, I can get usually a model done with my ability within an hour or two, because I have those speed paints. Hey, did you guys see the models I put in Bruce's Discord? That model I just recently put.
I might have. I'm not going to say yes or no.
Well, that one actually happens to be my best model, and it was because I stopped being lazy and busted out my alcohol inks.
I have to. If I get a miniatures that I really want to paint, I have a few miniatures I just need to get back to painting. I got two colossal, not colossal, but huge wolves that I want to finish up. These are called Cosmo Wolves. They're from Magic Together.
Oh God, those things.
Yeah, and I'm like, I hate the fact that it's for Magic actually, that's not a lie. I play Magic the Gathering. It's cracked. Every once in a while, I can escape it, but every so often, it drags me right back like a horse head in a bed. I get out and they drag me right back in. It's cracked.
Yeah.
But, I'll start painting, and I'm knocking out miniature after miniature after miniature. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, I just don't want to paint anymore. I'm done for a while.
That's why assembly for me is like right now. I've been assembling models for about a month, and I've put together about 40 some odd models, and now I want to paint, and I don't want to assemble anymore. So I can go back and forth and still getting stuff done. Another trick, Connell. Well, you don't do a lot of rank and file, but like if you've got stuff you've got to paint, and then the stuff you want to paint, it's like I'll tell myself, okay, I don't get to paint this until this is done, and this is the reward. I get to paint this when I'm done with this. Or you can use my other philosophy: only paint what you cannot wait to paint. If you don't feel like, oh my God, I can't wait to paint this, you're not ready to paint it, because you'll probably look at it as work and not do your best job. When you are in love with the piece you're about to paint, you will give it way more attention to detail. You'll be more careful, and you'll pull out every skill and every trick to make this. You might even spend weeks on it, and it's just one of these little character miniatures. But if you can't wait, then you will do the best job you can.
I got a Jabberwocky that I need to finish, and I'm just trying to find.
Well, by that logic, Shadow, I should assemble probably one of the more difficult pieces and do the Wyvern right off the bat.
What was it? There's the Jabberwocky that I bought a while ago. I have like 98% of it done. I'm probably sure I could get the rest of it done really quickly. I'm just trying to find like fishnet that's really, really small and thin that I can put over the eyes to paint over it to give it more of a fly eye. That sounds weird. Fly, what a fly's eye looks like.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And
I should be able to achieve that effect with simple screen.
Yeah, I don't have any on me, and unless I find some for a project I only need to use it once for, as far as I know.
Do you have a tobacco shop nearby, like especially sells at pipes, especially?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's if they got pipe or hookah screen, that should work just fine.
Right.
I never thought of that. That's a great idea.
Yep,
I don't paint a lot of bug eyes, and when I do, they usually already have that sort of effect molded into it, so to speak. So there's that.
Do not use fishnet, please.
Because I was going to say you're not going to find a really
the weave small enough for it. Yeah, I realize that.
Yeah, it's.
But until I have, it's like with cooking. Until I actually have the correct ingredients or the correct tools I need to make whatever I'm making, I just don't touch it. Not until I won't touch a recipe until I have it. And it's just kind of weird.
How like me.
Yeah. Oh, I've been craving. God, what have I been craving? Gazpacho?
Not entirely sure I've ever had that, but I've heard of it.
Gazpacho soup?
Oh, I'm not much of a soup person, then probably not.
It's a cold vegetable. It's amazing. I enjoy the hell out of it. Shadow, have you had it?
Yeah, it's been a long time, but like TCG, I'm not a soup guy. To be honest, stew every once in a while when it's cold, but if the main ingredient is water, I already drink a crap ton of it, and I don't care what you put in it.
Yeah,
it's got a lot of my favorite ingredients, which again, not a big vegetable guy. Lettuce, tomato, onions, pickles. That's kind of about it for me.
Oh, I
like most vegetables, but they got to be raw.
Oh, I get it, but as hot as it's been, gazpacho would be amazing right now. I don't know. I mean, I can't compete with like Texas or California because I'm sure you guys' heat's been amazing.
Actually, this summer has been incredibly mild. We just had the hurricane, and it's supposed to be in the 80s, 90s, etc. And
that's fair. Here's the reason why I'm the cigar DM. I get it. The cheap ranchers, like asking Connell where the liquor store is asking where a white girl gets shoes at.
or me where the gun store is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those are the cheap questions.
I can answer all three of those questions, actually.
So can I. And I
Of
gave
course,
this.
everybody gets to choose from the same spot up where I live: Walmart, North 40, and a sporting goods store. I forgot what it's called.
I gave the fine state of Illinois $10 for me to go. People to have one. I should put it that way.
Yeah.
I have to get cards saying I'm not, whatever.
Yeah. I know the stag in this is going to be one of the last things I paint, not because I'm dreading painting it, but because I don't know what I want to paint it. I like the idea of the white stag because the white stag is cool. But even before this, like it was back when you first assembled the white stag and I watched that video, I was literally thinking that would be really cool for beneath the, because I was already thinking of the book then. I was thinking that would be really cool for the purple sun, like a purple deer, a purple stag that there's only one of in the world. But it's like, I like the white stag. I also like the purple stag. So it's like, what color do I paint it? So that's probably going to be the last one.
Well, which one? I mean, if your world, that you run primarily has that legend already, then absolutely, go with purple. I for me, it was just, it's like, it's one of those lesser known myths or legends from folklore that most people just,
the white stag.
It's just, you just pass it on by. It's not, it's not a big deal, but maybe for them, it is. It's, it's one of those things that they bring up more often than we do, the Lucky Charms and the rainbow and the leprechaun,
Yeah, well,
maybe over in Poland for whatever reason, that's just one of their more popular legends. And, it seems like, it's also one of those things where, it's an encounter, but it's not a combat encounter. But if you play your cards right, it could be one of the most memorable encounters, for weeks, months, or years because of the significance of what happens, right before, during, or after. To tie it all together, maybe it's a good omen, and then later on down the road, you can tie it to having seen the white stag or something like that.
Oh yeah, where I live, the white stag is actually a legend. I'm not surprised. Being in North Idaho, it's a very foresty, wooded area. Foresty wooded, yes, is the exact thing. Sorry, I've been drinking hard iced tea, so I'm a little tipsy. There's a lot of deer up here, and I do know for a fact we actually have a lot of Europeans that ended up in here because of the woods. A lot of Europeans good at logging, so a lot of Europeans ended up here. And the white stag is a legend that followed up here. That's part of the reason why I liked it. Is because, oh no, did I just break something?
Yeah, modeling is not one of those hobbies that you want to do when you're a little bit tipsy. Just saying.
It's just. Oh, okay. I didn't break anything. It was one of those pieces that, like the spur from when they're pouring the plastic in, they just didn't clip it off. It's like 90% clipped off, so it just broke off with the slightest touch, and it scared the crap out of me. I thought I just broke something.
No worries, man. You'll have a lot of fun with that set. I mean, it's 32 pieces. Sometimes it takes me a full hour to put a small piece together because of the clipping, the filing, the gluing, etc. Don't rush it. Whatever you do, don't rush it.
I'm going to purposely take my time, and that's why I said I'm hoping to have one assembled before Sunday, because I learned something also watching lots of different videos about painting. especially the rescue video that I was telling you about earlier. No, I might not have said it was miniature. Yeah, eBay Miniatures Rescues. I really like that guy. I learned very quickly. I'm not at yours, Bo's, or Bruce's level of painting, but for someone who just started off, I'm a way better painter than a lot of other people out there.
I don't know if you're aware of this, Crafty Gamer. I am horribly colorblind. Only color I see is red. So
yes, I've heard this many times.
Okay.
No offense. I'm just saying, like,
right. So if I want to paint,
it's not something you're shy about.
Right. Well, when I want to paint a fig, I have my daughter come over and tell me what color needs to go where, and I'll print out a picture of it and write on the picture what number means what. So I paint by number as Charlotte did on figs, and I feel it's kind of cheating, but at the same time, it's either
that or you paint in nothing but black, white, gray, and red. And trust me, while that may not sound cool, it kind of does sound cool if you like some certain comic books that are just black, white, and sometimes just red. Like the Tick, I think, did one like that. But yeah, I don't think anybody really wants to play using black, white, and gray miniatures only. You know, if you go into that one scenario and all the miniatures are like that because you're in like the Phantom Zone or something like that, cool. But okay, when we come back, everything better be back in color. You know, that's what
all my games will be. What kind of genre is that? All my games will be in a noir. Yeah.
Film noir. I've seen it done. I've seen a bunch of minis that were done in nothing but a black, white, grayscale because I forget why. Maybe it was a film noir, but either way, it looked pretty dang good. But after a while, it's all going to look the freaking same.
Well, yeah. It's funny. Omen now is like, we're talking to Omen now after one of our Sunday shows. He's like, I might throw a black and white movie in there. I'm like, that's funny because all the movies we pick out are black and white movies. There's there's this horrible movie called it's filmed the way that I see. It's really weird. The Spirit.
That was a good movie.
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, I used to read the comic book, and it was pretty good.
You like that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my vision's like. And
I just found an interest. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
Go for it. No, finish your statement.
Okay. I just found something interesting that a flaw, not in the miniature, but in one of the sprues that's attached to the miniature, that I think I'm going to cut off and keep that sprue because it makes it look like it's almost a horn growing off one of the skulls.
You know, believe it or not, I actually look at the sprue when I'm done and I've clipped everything out of it to see if there are shapes, because sometimes there's those circular, like those circles in the middle of the sprue, or the sprue is just in a weird shape that I'm like, you know what, I can use this for this or that. Or you can always just take all of your sprues, chop them into little pieces, put them in a jar, fill the jar full of acetone, and then use the goo that will eventually come out as a putty to fill in gaps. Or you can even, work with it and do other weird stuff. Like if you wanted to make a slime miniature, you just take a bunch of that goo and just pile it, make little piles on top of it until you get, a slime. Because, I mean, if you pay for slime miniatures, it better be like epic level slime miniature, black pudding or something like that. Or just freaking get your hot glue gun and make them yourself.
My buddy got a rock elemental, and he went out to, I guess, the kids' park and picked up 2 small pebbles. I mean, like small gravel type pebbles. Painted it brown, the same color as the earth elemental or rock elemental, and super glued the 2 little pebbles down as if they were balls onto the elemental.
That's pretty funny.
I'm waiting for my friend to do it, but he's going to print me out off everything verse or every verse, whatever the hell it's called, a 3D printer printing.
Thingiverse.
Thingiverse. Yeah, you can get not the Holy Grail. I'm sure you could probably print out the Holy Grail. I have one that I'm working on. It's no, my daughter has it right now. But what was it? The Ark of the Covenant.
Oh yeah, I've seen that too.
Indiana Jones are.
That's pretty cool, actually.
I'm going to use it as a trap because they're going to go rumble into a room and say, "Oh, look, it's treasure!" As they open it, everybody makes a con save or a melt.
Nice.
You're such a dick. Yes, I am. But the only person, to be honest, only group of people I get a DM for that I do actually play softball with or use kid gloves are with the kids for the most part. The adults, I have no problem saying no. I will throw screwball-ish things at them, and they run with it pretty damn well.
Yeah, I have no doubts of that. I find that I personally, when it comes to potential gamers, I seem to attract idiots.
Idiots?
It wasn't until as in well, did you hear all the stories I talked about on Table Breakers 2 weeks in a row?
Yeah, I've heard some.
So they're murder hoboing idiots that can't understand that even though it's a sandbox, there is kind of a storyline. Like you're not supposed to go around killing everything you see.
Well, may I ask, what's the age range?
At this time, this was between the ages of 13 and I want to say 17.
That's just the age, man. It's unfortunate. It's just the age.
I was the same age, and I was not the same way.
Well, that very well be true, but there's still a lot of I don't say piss and vinegar because I'm turning 40 and I still have a lot of piss and vinegar still left.
Yeah,
but it's just the age. It really is. For every one person that might be like you and Jade, there's a half a dozen of us. Right? Murder, death, kill. Murder, death, kill. Murder, death, kill.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of interested in seeing what the game on the 28th of next month is going to be.
Oh, what us numbnuts?
Yeah. But something I'm going to have to make sure I explain to everybody in the game before we play is part of what I'm doing with part of the reason why after you guys offered and I jumped on the opportunity is I actually want someone experienced gamers who can take a look at my system and, for lack of a better term, break it. Because I need to know how far the system can go before I know where the limits I have to hard set are. I have an idea, but I don't actually know.
You got a good group. Jade, Kai, Shadow, of course, Bruce, Garrett. I don't look at a game, me personally, I don't look at a game or a character that I'm building and see how far off the proverbial railroad tracks I can run this guy. I just try to make a character that will survive. I mean,
that's fair.
The character I have in Bruce's campaign is just I just want him to survive. That's the whole thing. He is very much a murdering hobo, but I don't mean him to be a murdering hobo. It's not a purposeful thing. It's a survival thing with,
I presume that's aimed at me. I'm glad to hear it, Bo, because no one else was talking about DMing but me. Yeah, up till recently, I'm used to murder hobos anyway. So, this is it, literally ever since I joined these guys, I've seen even in Bruce's campaign less murder hoboing than what my characters did, than what my players did, I should say. My characters, I wasn't playing them.
I think the worst thing, maybe not the worst thing we've done, but one of the big things that we've done in Bruce's campaign was dropping the bag of holding into a portable hole.
Yeah, but even then, I would give argument as there was a not necessarily a good reason, but at least a reason to do that.
We had
Well,
a
right off the, sorry guys. One, just because it said that this is what happens in a book doesn't mean that that's what happens in my game. First off.
right.
Yeah,
Okay. Second, he, because I was there too. He could have gone a lot of different ways with it, and he chose to go the most explosive route possible, which is fine. That it's his world, and maybe the lesson he's trying to teach by allowing it is yet to be completely understood or realized yet. So I wouldn't sell him short until
Oh, I'm not
the
selling them
family
short by any
so to
stretch of the
speak.
imagination.
Not sell him short, but judge too harshly yourselves or the situation, because there may be a very, very valuable lesson to be learned from that situation. Not just for you guys, but maybe even for him. Now, when it comes to hobos, Connell was right. Yeah, I am a murder hobo. It depends on the situation.
It's always
Connell's right
on
about the age. Connell's right about the age thing, but you're now been given the opportunity to find the group that you've always dreamed about playing with, because sometimes in the old days we only got to play with the people that were nearby. Well, now distance is no longer a setback or a deterrent. You can play with people from all over the world and get them in your game, provided you can find the right time, and scheduling and all that. And you can kind of, sort of shop for people that think like you do. And that's going to make your games all the better, but it's also going to, force you to really step up and get into your A game as best as possible. And, that's the best part about the hobby, is that you're never done learning. You're always going to learn new tricks. With certain other hobbies, you learn that swing or that maneuver or that what have you. You may be done for that. May be it. You may have gotten to the top, and you're now going to be playing that particular game or sport or what have you, and you're only going to get worse because of physical limitations from that point on.
yeah.
What helped me a
Always going to be
lot.
learning.
What helped me a lot was Jade's a great person as a DM, and Bruce is also a great person as a DM. But the moment you start getting invited to realistically DM only games, which means everybody there has been a DM for X amount of time, the level of play, in my opinion, gets better. You learn more things with, this guy's been my DM for the last 5 years.
Before I met you guys, I only played with about a dozen people for the last 20 years, and none of them DM'd. None of them. So I wasn't getting a lot of pushback, getting a lot of certain kind of feedback, because we were buddies from college or earlier in our lives, and we fell into we're friends and family now. There is no, oh, you should have done this, or maybe in the middle of the game there might be a disagreement, but there's never any feedback from, or there was never any feedback from fellow game masters, because I was the group's GM for decades and decades and decades, and get and play with everybody in Table Breaker, people like Bo, people like Omen and Mark, all the guys that have completely different experiences, but they're all GMs. There aren't a lot of people in our circle that are just players.
Right. No, the adage, iron sharpens iron, and you get that when you play with just DMs. I'm not bashing anybody who doesn't have that, because but I've lucked out a couple different times where I only play with other DMs where I got invited, and was it Bruce?
Take care, Cal.
Our Friday game has a lot of DMs in it. I bet. Yeah, I imagine. I mean,
Doesn't it have nothing but, Bo? Is there anybody in there that, well, maybe Josh? I don't know Josh very well. Oh, I know Owen as GM, and he's probably a really good one. He's probably pretty strict and, got, uh, a very, unique way of GMing. I was just wondering more about Josh because I really don't know him if he's ever GM'd before.
my skill set is a player first with some DM. Yeah, that was my experience. I was a player first. I got introduced to the game when I was waiting for my middle brother to get done with his college courses. I got into the hobby a whole lot later in life than a lot of you guys probably have.
I got pretty early, but I was slightly
12.
taken advantage of. But yeah, I was about 14, 15, 16 at most.
Yeah,
But I think it was 14.
but you know what though? For all of us professional GMs, or whatever you want to call it, getting back in, on the other side of the GM screen has been such an eye opener. The next time I run a game that isn't like a one shot, I'll have learned so much more in the last 2 years that I learned in, potentially my first 10.
Yeah,
You really
when I first started.
got to step away sometimes and let
Yeah.
somebody else, take the steering wheel and just go, okay, I'm in, for, the adventure, not, facilitating.
Right. I lucked out my Monday. Me, and two other guys. One's been on Table Breaker. That would have been not Table Breaker, a Gatekeeper, which is Finn, who has been DMing. He's been in the hobby for a long ass time. I mean, what was that?
It seems like a good guy.
He is my daughter's godfather, so I have to be nice. But no, he's a good guy. And my experience comes from Jade. My experience comes from Bruce, and a lot of my experience comes from Finn and other people's gaming. So when I DM, I look at the party and think to myself, what does the party need? What kind of direction would feed the party best? With new players, or anytime I'm doing a brand new campaign with new people, do you two know what Grey Render is?
Sounds familiar, but
It's a monster out of 3.5 they have in Pathfinder. It's a vegetarian for the most part. It eats trees. It's, in my opinion, they're practically harmless unless you attacked it. Then then you have issues. So I'll have them marching down a trail in the forest, and they'll see. I'll have one of them do a perception check and tell them, "You hear something eating. What do you do?" Well, I want to see what it is. So they do it. If they attack the Grey Render, I know I have a bunch of murder hobos. If they don't, and I'm like, okay, we're going to leave it alone, I kind of push it a little bit. I'll have the Grey Render start to follow them a little bit, not like threatening following them, just kind of curious, like a dog that follows you home from the store type of situation.
Okay.
The dog's not bothering you, he's not doing anything, he's just kind of following you to see where you're going. That's what I'll do with the Grey Render. And depends on how they do it. Sometimes I don't give it to the druid as a companion, but it'll just start to hang out with the druid, as a stray dog. And that's how I will be able to tell, okay, I have a party that is here for the story and the camaraderie and everything else, or I have a table that just wants to be Power Rangers, and this is the monster of the week.
Yeah, mind
even
you,
the Power Rangers didn't kill everything.
That's fair.
The Grey Render is freaking huge. So, yeah.
It's just a good way. In my opinion, it might not work for every table, but it's my way to test. It is very much my way to test the party to see what I have in front of me. And most times
Sounds
it
like
works
a good
out.
idea, honestly.
I mean, you throw gobos. If you throw gobos at them, go for it.
Oh, I gotta bow out. I've got to take care of some stuff before the boy gets to bed. for school. It
Okay.
is a school night, but it was wonderful chatting with you guys. TCG,
Yeah, it was.
I hope you have many, many, many years of enjoyment out of the stuff you won fair and square. And I can't
Oh,
wait
yeah.
to see what you've put together by Sunday. Because Sunday I'll be
Yeah.
doing a short, show off show just to see what everybody else has done this week. Try to light a fire under some asses
Oh.
and
You need
get
to
them
put
to
your
do the
Discord
stuff
in.
that-
Sorry, it's just you need to put your Discord in some of your videos. I can't seem to find it. Every time I type in
Yeah,
Shadow and Sun, it just this is like, oh, there's like no servers with that name. It's like, what?
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked earlier. You found me.
Oh, you don't have a Discord channel, just a Discord?
Oh no, I do have a channel. It's just like it says. I'll have to. I rarely use it. I just use Discord to communicate back and forth with anybody. I don't do a lot of self promotion or anything like that on the Discord. Occasionally, I'll show some pictures and stuff. But I probably should do that. I should probably use it a little bit more. I mean, I've got it.
It's a tool.
All I really do with Discord is show off my videos, talk with a few of my followers, because one guy really likes talking to me about Robotech. I don't mind. And show off, in this case, since I started my projects, like such as my minis. But that seems to be enough to get the people who are there happy. I get responses, not quite a bit, but I get responses from them. And so you don't have to do much to use your Discord. Like, I figured you had a lot of minis pictures on there.
Nah, I got like 6 posts on it after 2 years. I need to fix that. But I got to hit the road, guys. Have a great week.
Good night.
It's only just begun, and I'll see you guys real soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Oh, happy trails.
Happy trails. Yeah. Hate allergies.
I'm allergic to what am I allergic? I'm allergic to stuff, but I don't have any allergies, thankfully enough.
Yeah. Well, my allergies are finicky, as in there are years where it'll be not bother them at all, and then there are years where it'll just be every little bit of pollen sets my nose off.
Oh no! Don't move to Nashville then.
Yeah. Well, it's not every year, but yeah.
But yeah. No, I was a jock. I was very much a jock in high school and college. It was after the fact. It was after, just being bored got me into the hobby.
Yeah.
I mean, fantasy and all that stuff always grabbed my attention, but it was just never my bag. It was just, I knew a few people that played, and I got, no, you wouldn't be interested. No, this, no, that. I'm like, oh, okay. Then I got invited to the game, and next thing I know, I'm in the hobby. I'm DMing and doing all the fun stuff.
Bo, this right here almost got me killed.
God, it's 11:30.
Yeah, well, it's 9:30 for me, so it's not that bad. But I actually seen a calf one day and did not see the cow.
Oh no.
I turned right back around and did not go to school that day because the calf was halfway down the driveway.
Oh no.
Thankfully, nothing came of it. And yes, they do swim like fish. In fact, the moose main habitat for eating is swampy areas. That's the reason why they're on such spindly legs.
I got a cousin that he puts it. He hunts, and he hunts, and he's like, I'm going to put. He does the lottery every year. There's a lottery to go hunt Kodiak bears up on Kodiak Island.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to win it, and I'm going to take you with me. I'm like hell you are. Hey, the only person that can shoot the Kodiak bear is the person who wins the lottery ticket. And B, I have a bum knee and I'm fat. I know how this joke goes.
Yeah.
And we're talking about, I'm like, so what are you planning on using? He's like, well, I was thinking about using my bow. I'm like, you're an idiot.
Yeah. It'll take down the bear, but you had better be in a spot where that bear cannot get you before you put enough arrows into it.
Yeah.
I actually have. No, let's say I have one of the best bear stories anyone has ever heard. And this isn't like I killed a bear or I survived a bear mauling. No, it's even better than that. I'm like 6 to 8 years old. So
Right.
at this particular point, trees are huge to me. I'm running around on my grandparents' property. And I hear something behind a tree. I couldn't figure out what it was. So I slowly go around the tree. Next thing I know, there's this big brown thing in my face. Some sort of thing that looked like a tail lifts up and right into my face.
Oh shit!
I took a breathe at the same exact time that happened, and my first response, oh, bleh, and I literally vomit. The bear takes off, and I swear to God, I can hear it laughing.
Yeah, Bo, I'd be power washing my drawers too. Yeah, that sucks. I mean, I've always been fascinated with the relationship that the Russians have with their bears. I've never quite understood it.
Yeah, I've heard, I don't know if it's true, but apparently their bears are a lot less aggressive than American bears.
I don't know why. I don't know why we got asshole bears and they got,
Yeah.
bear.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem right to me.
My reading's a little slow, so I might misplace you with alcohol in my system. So
That's
he
all
might
right.
be talking about what this reminds me of. But there was a show, I forgot what it's called, where to play a prank in the show, they decided to take a skeleton from a bunch of teenagers in high school, take the skeleton from the science room, put the lab coat of the teacher on there, and then throw the skeleton in the lion's den of the zoo.
Oh no!
It's like that was an awesome prank.
Funny, yeah. Some of the stories we grew up with hearing is like piranhas. If you go into piranha water, they automatically attack you. No, they won't. They're skittish.
Yeah. Very skittish, actually. They're less likely to attack than a shark is.
Yeah, I got a buddy.
It's blood or sporadic movement, and then it's literally an involuntary impulse. Or an involuntary impulse.
Jesus. As a kid, I go down to Florida a lot during the summers, and this is northern Florida. This is not Miami. This is very much like sneeze or fart in the right direction, you'll blow right back into Georgia. And
Bo, I believe that American badgers are bigger. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that to be the case.
My spirit animal is a honey badger. But anyways, and I learned how, as a kid, he would take me and he taught me how to surf. And I'm like, this is cool. Then one of my buddies at school the following year is like, hey, why sharks attack surfers? I'm like, why? And I'm like, he's like, because you look like seals. I'm like, I do. Shit. I get home, my uncle's like, yeah, we don't have to worry about that too much where we're at. I'm like, oh, too much. That's nice. Just jellyfish and stingrays.
Yeah. Apparently, the European badger will invite you to tea or for tea. Does that mean he'll have you for the tea? He'll make human tea.
Oh, I've seen a video. If you ever want to have something that makes you not want to sleep right the following night, watch what a honey badger do to a lion.
Oh, I have. It's some of the, like, I didn't see the unedited footage because this was on PBS, but the scenes they did show, you could see the honey badger was ripping up the lion as if the lion was a kitten.
It dives right between the lion's legs and goes right for the gonads. I mean, Fuck.
Okay, that's not the one I seen, but
Oh yeah.
that's bad enough. Or that's actually worse than the one I seen, but still.
Oh yeah, yeah. He just. Yeah. No, go about Stark Straight Wires or Margaritas, Hello Seals. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Gaming's fun. I know that sounds dumb, but gaming is really fun. Finding it right, as Shadow put, finding your tribe or having your tribe find you,
Yeah.
and being able to game games that you want to game or storyline that everybody's happy with is amazing, and it works out for the player and for the DM.
Yeah, this is funny. Of course, I'm also one of those people who always wanted to go swimming with sharks. I don't know if I'd definitely be in the cage. I don't know if I'd be one in the middle of a feeding frenzy type, but definitely in the cage.
I have a friend who is sexually assaulted by a dolphin.
Yes, I have heard this.
Yeah.
Not this story, but I've heard this can happen.
Yeah. Everybody gives him so much shit. Even his mom gives him shit. It's and we really shouldn't. We really, really shouldn't. But we give him so much shit. I mean, he's married. He's recently married, and his wife hates me, which is not an uncommon story with most of my friends. It's like their wives or their husbands hate me. It's one of the two. So. Yeah, and I'm at the wedding, and we're all joking around. I look at her. I'm like, unfortunately, I know he loves you, and he's planning on spending the rest of his life with you, but you're not his first love. What do you mean I'm not his first love? Now, somewhere out there is a young male dolphin who just thinks he's the bee's knees. He's like, shut up. Yeah, she hates. I mean, but I don't know. I'm a dick.
Yeah. There's something I've been kind of. It's a little bit about the game, but there's just something I've been dying to know about the game. Have you had a chance to read the character classes or the professional occupation? Professional occupation.
Started to. I know the game's coming up. I need to get back to it, but I started to. What's your question though?
Well, I was referring. Did you read the chef class yet?
Not yet.
Well, I'll give a little spoiler on that because I'm curious about what you think as a chef. I originally had what the chef can do as a skill set, but someone told me it was too OP, which was the chef can make meals so nutritious they grant bonuses. I
mean, as ego, I'm thinking that's kind of freaking. That sounds on par. That's my ego talking. And no, Bo, rape is not funny, but that story is.
Yeah, dolphin rape is.
Dolphin rape is. I don't. How much of a bonus are we talking about?
That is, the bonus itself is dependent. The max generally within the game is 3, but the overall bonus that you'll get is determined by you and the DM in that particular moment. For example, like if you and the GM say, oh, well, you ended up with substandard ingredients, so the best you can do is a +1. Or you end up, oh, I didn't write that in, but yeah, you should be able to do a maximum of 3. So, because this game is built up, you could potentially have bonuses that, once stacked on top of each other, go into the 10s or even 20s. But they would have to be stacked like 5, 6, 8 of them top of each other because the max for each one is 3. So I didn't write that in, but I should have.
Yeah.
That fits with the theme.
I can see the bonuses. I could definitely see the a meal. Yeah, I can see it giving bonuses. I mean, nothing crazy. I'd say one or two, but yeah, I could definitely see it. Because you know the old adage, "There's nothing better than a home cooked meal."
Yeah.
You know, hot, a cold, miserable day or bad day at whatever. You come home, or you go out to a restaurant if you can do that, and you order a
Yeah.
meal, and your spirits are just lifted by the meal itself. I'd say I'd give a bonus to that.
Yeah.
But
It,
yeah.
it was something I just wanted your opinion on because you are a chef, and it's like that seems like a really cool idea. I wonder what
Oh,
the
it
chefs
is.
think
It's
of
a
that.
really, really cool idea, and I definitely, I'd go to bat for that one. But yeah, I
Yeah.
like that.
I left uh I still left culinary arts in there as a takeable skill, but you don't get bonuses for cooking. It just means that you can cook a meal. Bonuses are specifically for the chef class,
Right. That makes sense.
which I decided to give them a very slight surgeon's personality, which is they tend not to use weapons that they can use to damage their hands with.
I get that. I get that. As a chef, I see daggers and daggers. I see, yeah. I don't
Well,
see.
what I started off with, I believe you start off with knife and thrown weapons as your automatic skills, and you can pick from. There's only one weapon you can pick that you can pick mace as a chef, but you will definitely get a kick out of why, because right behind it says mace. Frying pan counts as a mace.
That's cool. What's up, Bo? Well, 9 out of 10
Oh,
people do prefer the gang and or prison version. Oh, oh. Actually, that's funny. It's not funny. I have a buddy who actually spent, I don't know, a couple years. He did something dumb, nothing horrible, but he did something dumb. He went to jail, and
yeah.
every once in a while, he's like, "Come over for dinner." And I'm like, "Okay," and he'll like make me some prison food.
Uh,
And I'm like, "Well, that was
uh,
unique. How did he do that?" He's like, "I'll show you." I'm like, "Holy crap!"
I've heard you get very creative when you
You
miss certain
do.
things.
It's like ramen noodles is almost like a base for everything.
No, I don't doubt that. It's like I know someone. Well, I used to know someone. I spent a lot of time around town and seeing the ugly. You wouldn't believe a small town has as ugly an underbelly as mine does, but it does. It's
I live in
we even.
Pekin, Illinois.
I don't know what that means, but by the sounds of it, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But there was a guy who he swears by prison wine. He makes all his wine himself exactly like he does in prison and will not drink any other alcohol. I don't know if he's still alive because I haven't seen him in years, but that's and the smell alone was to make me to go enough to go nope.
Ah, I mean, I brew. I don't brew for a living, but I brew for my own. For
Oh
what I
yeah, I do
want.
the same thing.
I do ciders mainly in mead,
Just meat so far.
and just no. I mean, I've seen videos on how they make prison hooch.
Yeah, I haven't. Like I said, the smell alone was enough to make me go no.
And
I don't want to get that. I'm not that interested in getting drunk.
right. Just no, just no. I mean, I get it. I shouldn't say I get it. The concept, the way that they do is unique. It's very much like prison food. It has its own history, its own thing. But damn, 5 years ago, I was into those recipes. Holy crap, it was amazing and disgusting. recipes ever. Yeah. That was cool. You know. I don't know.
I'm not entirely sure what it means, but it sounds funny.
Yeah.
I don't know why Kool-Aid would or Ruffles would taste like Kool-Aid or vice versa.
Oh man, my mom, on a change the subject, because I'm thinking about prison hooch and my stomach's not enjoying it. My mom was very much 80s child. She loves the 80s music,
Oh,
so,
yeah.
and she's also a big AC/DC fan. And I'm like, Mom, I want an AC/DC for you. And she's like, No, you're not. Yeah, I am. Yep, yes, I am. So I play a video of Donald Duck just talking. Then I play a music video of AC/DC, and she's like, All I hear is Donald Duck now. Thank you. What did I do to you? I don't know, but karma's a bitch, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, they always say whatever you did to your parents, you'll receive tenfold.
Oh, yeah. Well, considering you are working in the medical field, I'm sure you would know, Bo.
Yeah.
My oldest stepson Laszlo is we can't say autistic anymore. He's Asperger's. Well, anymore everybody's has whatever is autistic. Well, you have ADD. Well, you're autistic. I'm like, no, I just am hyper.
Yeah, that's one of the things I hate is that they decided to make. Yes, it is much cheaper.
It's much easier to explain to when you get pulled over. That's horrible. I shouldn't make jokes like that. Anyway, so he's 21, and his dad, he's just like, I just don't, I don't want to drink with him. For whatever reason, he's like, I just won't, and he's not allowed to drink when he was living with his dad. He lives with his mom now, my ex-wife, and he came to me. He's like, Connell. I'm like, yeah, would you have a beer with me? I'm like, sure, I'll have a beer with you. I'll have two,
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. And he's been up here since the summer. He's like, hey, what do you think of this kind of alcohol? And I've been giving him kind of lessons on alcohol, what alcohol is like, what to be careful with, what, is okay.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, well, I want to do absinthe. I'm like, okay.
Not a good for your first alcohol. Even I know that.
Yeah, he's he's more of a bourbon guy than anything. But I'm like, okay. So me and him went out to the liquor store, and I got.
Bo, forgive my ignorance, but I'm not entirely sure what that's in reference to.
Rufinol.
Unless he's talking about roofies.
No. I feel like I should know. So he picked up a bottle of absinthe. Me and him went to the liquor store and he picked up a bottle of absinthe. It's the same absinthe I have here because we decided for reasons it would be best for me just to have it at my house, Not that I'm going to drink it all, but, So, and I told him, let me find some sugar cubes and I'll do a whole show and pony out of it. So I do. And he takes the first shot. He's like, this is like Jaeger. And I'm like, yeah, it is. He's like, I really like this. Can I have another shot? And this is
boy.
I'm like, yeah, I will give you another. I don't know. There's a reason why I'm not a doctor, or a nurse, or anything in the medical field. So I'm like, yeah, I'll give you one more shot. 2-shot limit. You have a 2-shot limit on anything that we have because normally 2 shots he's good. He's like, okay. So he takes another shot. He's like, I know I said 2, but can I have another one? I'm like, nope, you're done. And so yeah, if you But are you bored at work?
Sounds like it, or reads like it, I should say. Yeah, I've always wanted to try absinthe, but
it tastes like black licorice.
Anyway, finish your story.
So yeah,
that's
shots. It. No, what I did was I gave him 2 shots. I did the whole thing. I set it up. I put a little bit of water in the bottom, put the absinthe on top of it so it gets that milky color. I poured the absinthe over the sugar cube. I light the sugar cube on fire. I dump it into it, and you got a flaming mo if you catch the reference.
I think so.
Simpsons.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. It's been a while.
And he's like, he just thought that was the coolest thing ever. I'm like, okay.
That's cool.
Yes, the date rape drug. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it was what he was referring to. I was right.
Yeah.
I was right. The Kool-Aid tastes like roofies. Okay, that makes sense now.
See, Kool-Aid to me tastes like Everclear, but okay. Oh God! Whoever thought it was a good idea to make a drink using engine degreasers? It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like that. God, there's this great line from Yellowstone. I don't question the first person who got on the bull. I question the second. And Everclear kind of, he's like, I don't question the first guy who drank Everclear, but I do question the second.
Yeah. It's like I knew somebody who gladly smoked bath salts. It's like
I've heard horror stories.
I know that Everclear isn't as bad as bath salts, but it's like, you're really going to be that dumb, and you're watching someone else. You've seen someone else do this shit, and then you're going to do it. Yeah, no thanks. A guy managed to sneak some in. Sorry, let's you.
Just dump sugar in it, my friend. That's not good. Oh, good Lord, no. Yeah, the Hostel movies. Yeah, no. I knew it. I grew up in Ireland, and I knew what absinthe was as a kid. My grandparents never drank it. That was never their thing.
Oh, I played a trick on. I played a trick on Shadow.
Oh, Shadwell.
No. Well, technically it's on Jack because I spelt instead of son boy, I spelt it son. Yes.
Yeah, I saw
you.
I saw that. I figured he knew. Yes, the fancy spoon thingy. I have the fancy spoon thingies out in the car. But yeah. Oh man, when I first lit it, I looked at the because it was over at his mom's house. I was looking at the roommate, and I'm like, this kind of feels like I'm doing heroin when I'm lighting the sugar. It was kind of weird. And she laughed. Oh man.
Something I want to do at some point. You straight up inspired this because you want to do the cocaine owlbear island.
Yeah,
At some point, I want to get my hands on an owlbear statue or miniature and make a cocaine owlbear.
I was at the mall today, and we went to a few places that have bobbleheads, Funko bobbleheads, and I was looking for one of the doctors for a friend of mine, and they had a cocaine bobblehead. I almost bought it, but it didn't have any like white lines painted on it, which it just had the leg. I'm like, oh, this is not right.
No, you mean I'm already thinking of the owl bear. You see thick white lines near its nose, but you see its entire face just powder white.
There is
paws and claws covered in white powder.
Yeah.
Maybe even what looks like some powder spilt down its chest.
There is a very good chance that I'll be running that for the Table Breakers.
Nice.
There's a very good chance of it. The problem I'm having is, do I want? And I'm not blaming them. I got a lot of, how should I put this? A lot of, not much heat, but the resistance to 5th edition was very noticeable.
Yeah.
And I get it. 5th edition is not everybody's jam. That's fine. I run it to make money.
Yeah.
It's not my jam, but it helps keep the lights on.
I can understand that.
And so I'm like, oh, I could just run them through 5th edition again and make everybody miserable. Or I could try and find another system. So I'm like, sort of making it kind of, I feel like I'm one of those people that should not be building houses, but you're building a house and you're just like, I'm just trying to bang things in to make them fit. I'm banging a circle into a square hole half the time. It's like, what the fuck?
You should try more kit bashing technique.
Like kidnapping? Yes, kidnapping is always a good thing.
I said kit bashing.
Kid bashing? Oh, yeah.
But you could consider kidnapping. I'm kidnapping this part from this piece and putting it over here.
So the module with the cocaine owlbears will, because of Omenau is the one who named it. But
yeah, I remember that. I was watching. That was hilarious.
Alcatraz, Escape from Alcatraz. Yeah, I don't know. I get a weird idea. I get weird ideas all the damn time and thinking, how could I turn this into a game that people want to play or would run? It's like, how would I do, I don't know. Right now, before I jumped on here, I was about ready to start watching Freddy Krueger, one of the Freddy Krueger movies.
Oh, yeah.
And in the back of my head, it's like, how could I? Well, I'm DMing in October. Yeah. So you should do a Halloween theme type one. That's not a bad idea. How would I, and I'm putting Freddy Krueger's like, okay. So, And I'm like, no, maybe. And that's just how my head works. I wish. Actually, there was a TED Talk. There was a TED Talk talking about people that have ADD versus people who don't. And he has a whiteboard up. And he's like, the average person's brain. And he just starts putting notes on, one right after the other. Then he flips the whiteboard over. Person with ADD. Slap, 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 slap. I'm like, thank you, because that's how I think. And yeah. I know it drives a few people crazy. I mean, I basically do everything in my power to drive Shauner crazy because it's Shauner.
Yeah. Shauner's already called me out a few on his shows that he doesn't think I should be on. So I'm waiting for him to really make some sort of video about me. And then I'm going to tear into him about, hey, I am who I am. And I am also mentally handicapped. So if you want to start going it somewhere, buddy.
I am here at some point here soon. I got Justin in it. I think Bo will play along. We'll play along too. Is we're going to start reviewing Shauner's video. I have ADD. We'll start reviewing his Skyrim videos.
Oh yeah.
And, as I said, iron sharpens iron. And if he takes it well and plays along with it, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, well, maybe he should stop making review videos on other people if he can't take it.
Yeah, agreed.
No,
yeah, I never had anything against Shauner till he started calling me out on other people's streams saying I shouldn't be there. It's like, why shouldn't I be there? I mean, this is part of the process of growing.
Right.
I mean, because people are like, if someone said, "Oh, it's because you're of a small channel," it's like this is part of the process of growing.
Not
Like, there's
everybody's.
not many. Like I can actually count on one hand out of all the channels I've watched that I know for a fact they started by themselves and got to the point where they are by themselves.
Oh yeah.
Almost 90 to 99%, somewhere in that ratio. Like most of them are, they worked with other people in some form or another, even if it's just gaming on the same channel.
Yeah. No, and I creepily agree. I completely agree with you, Six Nation. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I got a few other people. Actually, one of them, the one person I haven't had a problem with for a while is me and him basically made a truce that I don't talk about him badly on the YouTube, and he doesn't say anything about me. And so far, he's been keeping the peace. And with that being said, I'm not going to say names.
Yeah.
But Shawner, I think some of the things that Shawner says is funny. I really do. I mean, especially when he's going after somebody. A couple other people, I think it's hilarious. I will laugh. But when he went after Bo, I'm like, that was kind of uncalled for. When he went after you, I'm like, that's really uncalled for. And
well, he didn't so much go after me as he just called me out as not being necessary or shouldn't be on the show, because I bring nothing to it.
Yeah. There's enough assholes in the world. We don't need one more.
Yeah, agreed. It's like, really, I forgot. It was a saying I read or heard years ago. There's enough assholes in this world. I can't remember if this is how, but this actually goes. There's enough assholes in the world that it already smells enough like shit. You don't need to add to it, or something like that.
Yeah, I get that. I love this. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. Yeah, that wasn't how it was taught at my house. If you have nothing nice to say it louder to make sure the son of a bitch hears it, you say it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Well, in my house, it was, if you have nothing nice to say, you keep it to yourself until the idiot has pissed you off. Then you let him know exactly why you're pissed off.
I like that one too. Yeah, I don't. No, okay, Bo. No, he says you can't grow as a player or as a GM. How are you supposed to grow? Okay.
Oh, that's how Shawner talks? Now, that part I didn't know. That would explain why he calls me out like he does, because he thinks I'm not going to get any better. I've grown so much as a DM. I've already learned more things about being a DM in the few years that I had to stop being a DM because there was nobody to game with than when I was a DM. Why? Because I realized one of my biggest issues. Yeah, he's old. I do know that much. I've learned to say no. Because I've said this more than once on a lot of different streams. I started off a Sparkle troll. I couldn't say no.
Yeah, I never had that problem, but I've known a lot of people that have.
No, the end is nigh if I can't grow. Especially around women.
Oh, I don't know what women are. I've been single for too long.
Oh, you should be in my position. I haven't had any sort of romantic interaction, not even sexual, just any sort of interaction with a woman in over a decade.
Yeah, you get me beat. By 5 years. Going on 5 years.
Yeah.
Sorry. No go for you. We are non-role players. We are human dice rollers. These I don't know. Man, I'm also just getting tired. I'm getting to the point where I'm getting slap happy.
Yeah, well, you also said not long ago it's like 11:30 for you. That was like half
it's
an hour
12
ago, so
now. Yeah.
So if you want to call it a night, dude, I actually came on for a live unboxing of the miniatures and I wanted Shadow on as a guest, but when you showed up, it's like, hey, we're talking about minis. You like minis? Why not
I
have
do
you
like
on?
minis. I have my share of them. I have more in other places. 3D printers have really helped grow my mini collection, unfortunately, or
Oh
fetchingly.
yeah, like I have miniatures I've been printing.
Oh,
I can't show her off because my camera is
yeah.
sucky for anything but distance. But this is a barbarian I printed. I also made her like. I decided to when I printed her, I purposely sized her so she was Death by Snoo Snoo size.
Nice. I have
All my miniatures are about the size of this one,
yeah.
and yeah. Oh, here we go. You can really see the size difference.
Oh wow.
She is Death by Snoo Snoo sized.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for thanks for letting me on, man. You're sorry I'm not more. I'm just tired. It's been a long day. Yeah, if I ever have a Sunday I can't make it, or I just don't want to watch the movie, I'm going to do an AI movie review to it and just have the rest of the people show up.
Thank you. I still got to properly spray paint. In fact, something I'll say to this is something I probably should have done at the beginning of the episode, but something I will sing the praises of right now for anybody who is really shitty at spray painting. Let's see if I can get a good shade on it. There we go. Bear paint and primer. I suck at spray painting. I leave big globs. I put it on too thick, and yet those miniatures look amazing despite my ignorance with spray paint.
Well, there you go.
I'm trying to learn to lay it on less thick because that also means I'll use less paint. But for my ignorance, it is not destroying the models because this paint is that nice. I also bought some white so I can get the Zenithal technique going.
When it comes to miniatures, I know there's a lot of people's like, don't buy WizKids or WotC because they hate you, and that's fine. I get it. I hate them too, but I really like some of their miniatures. So yeah, I'll get miniatures out. But yeah, dude, I'm stalling. Right. Everybody out there, I hope you have a good rest of the week. In theory, we will have a show this coming Sunday where we'll be talking about another high school movie because this is high school month. And I don't quite know because my brother's birthday. I think they're having a birthday party for my brother this weekend that I might not be able to get out of. I'll let you guys know when I know. But I want to thank you for having me on your show. If you're in the chat and you haven't already hit the subscribe button for this guy, do it. Hit the like as well. And I expect good things out of this guy. I mean, as long as he keeps me and Shadow off the show, I expect good things for him.
Well, this was a late night show, so
yeah, maybe we'll get lucky and no one sees it, and you'll be better off for it. Not because of you, not because of you. So sometime in late September, this guy will be running a one shot for us over at Table Breakers. So make sure you guys don't miss it because this is a man with a plan, and his plan is worth watching. This is me saying good night. Thank you again for having me on. Take it easy. I'm going to go pass out.
Good night, Connell. And my final goodbyes are I will be having a video this Saturday, and it will be more random tables because I forgot a list of tables in the book when I made my last random tables video. So, more random tables, and I hope you enjoy it. Night, everybody. Hope you have a great week.